Hey gang, in today's episode, we're going to continue our quick overview of the history of baseball cards, moving into the junk wax era.
We're going to be looking at a few of our favorite junk wax cards, and of course at the end we'll be ripping a few packs.
All right, let's go. All right, well, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again at Pack to the Future. This is our second episode, and we're going to get back into the history of sports cards. Last time we left off in the 1960s, 1970s, when sports cards were starting to get super popular. Today, I want to move into the junk wax era. It's when I started collecting sports cards, as did seemingly every other person in the history of the world. They started making cards very cheaply, and the market almost died off, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It's called the junk wax era because the cards were kind of junk and the packs that they came in were made of like a wax seal. It was just really cheaply produced, mass produced. People who had collected cards in the 1950s and 60s, they thought that cards were worth a lot, and so they saw an investment potential. So they passed it on to their kids. They started buying cards in bulk. It flooded the market. There was just too many of them. So cards of great players like Bobby Bonilla, he was a great player. Lenny Dykstra was a great player. Jack Morris, did Jack Morris, I think, just get in the Hall of Fame? These are all great players. These cards are worth nothing because there are just so many of them. They're cheaply made, really not worth anything.
So you started collecting cards during this thing, so most of yours were junk wax cards?
Yep, but I didn't realize it at the time, but my cards weren't really worth much, most of them. In the 1950s, they produced somewhere between 5 and 10 million cards.
Whoa.
Don't say whoa because it's a small number.
Oh.
Yeah. In the 1950s, they produced somewhere between 5 and 10 million cards. In the 60s, that number doubled. In the 70s, that number doubled. But by the 90s, they were making 200 million sports cards a year.
That's a lot of pieces of...
You're reacting so big. I love it. To this day, you can buy packs of cards from the late 80s, early 90s for like 50 cents a pack. There's still millions of unopened packs, and they're still basically worthless. By the mid-90s, several things led to the end of the junk wax era. One, people realized cards were being overproduced. You could buy them in any store, grocery stores, anywhere, and people kind of realized and the interest faded. Number two, several huge prospects in a row didn't pan out. So people like Brian Taylor, Greg Jeffries. I remember when I was a kid, this Todd Van Poppel card was like the card that everyone was seeking because he was the next surefire big player, and he never really amounted to anything. So players just didn't pan out. In 1994, Major League Baseball actually had a strike, meaning the players refused to play. So they lost a season of baseball, and people just kind of lost interest. So how did things rebound and get better to today? Well, it started with some companies like Upper Deck and Topps Stadium Club producing these higher quality cards.
Those do look much better than the ones you showed us.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into the photography as well, and several other factors, but we'll talk about that in episode 3. All right, so we're about to rip a pack, but I wanted to talk just for a minute about why we collect. In the last episode, we ripped a box of like new cards. We were looking for some great hits, a parallel, an autograph, something like that. In this episode, we're gonna rip 3 older packs. I can guarantee you we're not gonna find a $1,000 card or an autograph, but we wanna find some of our favorite players. This was one of my favorite cards when I was a kid, a Bo Breaker card. It's just a regular card, but boy, it looks really cool, right? It's like an insert card. Or this is a Ricky Henderson All-Star Advice card that I really thought looked cool. So we can be searching for cards like this that they might not be worth $100, but they still might be worth a lot to us personally. Before we rip, let me ask you, what is one card that you would love to find for your personal collection? Alice.
A Paul Skeens autograph.
Paul Skeens auto would be pretty awesome.
So I'm more into Pokemon and sports cards, so I would probably like to find like a really good Mewtwo. I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
Okay.
Mewtwo. Or Charizard.
Or Charizard.
Yeah, some of the good Pokemon.
We're gonna rip some Pokemon cards in a future episode, but all right, well, let's hope
You said we were gonna rip the book.
we're gonna rip some Pokemon packs in a future episode. Okay, so let's rip some junk. Okay, so let's rip some junk wax packs. Say that 3 times fast. Junk wax packs.
Junk wax packs.
Junk wax packs.
Junk wax packs. That's easy.
Yeah, it was easy. I don't know why I screwed up the first time, but we're gonna rip some junk wax packs. We're not gonna find any autos, but we can try to find some pretty cool cards. Let's get to ripping. All right, we're ripping 3 packs, starting with a 1990 Topps, a 1991 Donruss, and a 1992 Upper Deck. I'll be opening the tops here, starting with a delicious piece of gum. Let's see how this is. Oh God. Doug Jones. Mark. What? Oh God. Jack Morris.
He just made the Hall of Fame.
I literally cannot do this. I cannot believe how bad. I expected it to be bad, but why this bad? Oh. Brutal. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, Les Lancaster, Marty Peavy, Todd Browning, Chris Carpenter. Les Lancaster, Chris Carpenter. These sound like cartoon characters. Mickey Tettleton. I had not one good card in my whole pack. All right, Oliver. Struggling to open it, but starting with a really Starjolt puzzle piece. That's very cool. Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest hitters of all time. He only struck out like
That is
400 times in his whole career. All right, on to Dave Parker, the Cobra. He played for the Pirates. He was an MVP. He has, wait, let's pause this because I need to show you the greatest t-shirt of all time. This is a Dave Parker in the locker room after one of the Pirate games. This is, I used to have this picture as my screensaver. It's awesome. Okay, back to Scott Bradley. Okay, well, Scott Bradley, I'll take any Bradley, I'll take. There's Doug Drabeck, Cy Young winner for the Pirates. John Kruk, all-star and announcer.
Robinson.
Yep, Tom Gordon. A bunch of, we haven't hit any amazing players. I mean, Tony Gwynn, he's a pretty amazing player. Better than my pack, but let's hope for something even better here in the Upper Deck pack. So we're going to start out with this Ted Williams. Ted Williams was a player in the 1940s who was a Hall of Famer, one of probably the 10 best players of all time. Oh, that's a cool Doug Drabeck checklist. John Farrell didn't pan out, Pirates prospect.
Priorities every single different way. Yeah, they're all which way?
Yeah, it's just to make you struggle.
It's like a maze of the sports cards. This pack is gonna take me 3 days to rip.
Yeah, really. Flip it on around. Your hands are too small. They're falling out of your hands. I think we had a Fred McGriff back there.
3 hours later.
Hey, Ellis Burks. That's your name. You can have that card. All right. These are our 3 best hits. None of them worth a ton of money. All cool players, though. It's fun opening these packs and reminding me of my childhood. Hey, thank you for joining us in episode 2. See you again soon.
Bye.